Evening, everyone, and welcome to the September 23rd meeting of the Lakeville Conservation Commission. We are being recorded by LakeCAM this evening, and we'll go around and introduce ourselves to start off.
I'm Mark Menton, I'm the agent.
Mark Knox, commission member.
Nancy Yates.
Joseph Chamberlain.
William Alfanos.
Matthew Ferraro.
Okay, so we've been asked by Keolis, because they have another meeting tonight, if we would, I'd like somebody to make a motion that we move them up to the top of the agenda. They will be here via Zoom.
So I move that we move the place of Keolis commuter rail service to first on the agenda. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, good evening. There he is. Nope, there's no volume.
Audio.
Is that internal or external?
Anybody know sign language? Read lips.
Oh, that's wherever I'm looking at you.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, yes. Okay, let's start again. This is continued from when? 9/9/25. So this is a continuation of a hearing. You're on.
You can hear me now?
Yes.
We got you.
Can you hear me?
Great. I can, yes.
Okay.
So my name is Matt Donovan from Benish. I'm here to represent Keolis for this RDA, confirm the accuracy of the maps used for vegetation management on the commuter rail. The RDA is submitted to the commission every 5 years, required by CMR 11, and is required to get these determinations before getting the 5-year vegetation management plan approved by Mass Department of Agricultural Resources. The vegetation management plan has measures to keep the sensitive areas protected, and these sensitive area restrictions are listed and described in CMR 11.04, and that's what these maps were created in conformance with. The maps we provide you with are mainly made for the chemical portion of the plan, but often dictate where mechanical methods will be used due to the chemical restrictions. And I just realized I didn't pull up my the application, but you should be able to see the screen now of the actual maps. So each year there are two main chemical applications, one in the May to June timeframe that targets the roadbed of the track, and one in the August-September timeframe that targets the areas in the right-of-way adjacent to the roadbed further away from the tracks. The blue and yellow, the areas marked with blue and yellow on the maps are restricted from that brush program further away from the track, and will only receive that roadbed program directly down on the track. And that program, the roadbed chemical application, is done by a truck driving directly on the tracks, spraying the solution directly down up to 12 feet from the center line of the track to target the shoulders of the roadbed as well. The certified applicator is always accompanied by an environmental monitor, familiar with site conditions and equipped with these maps, instructing the operator as necessary. The applicator has the ability to turn all the nozzles off, or in many cases, just the side nozzles, where it's targeting the shoulders, where it may be getting closer to the buffer zones of these sensitive areas. So in the yellow zones, will never receive any spray to the shoulders. However, at the applicator and environmental monitor's discretion, they may still spray directly down onto the ties in conformance with the regulations. The blue zones will typically receive the full roadbed treatment at a 1-year interval. The light blue zones will receive it at a 1-year interval, and the dark blue zones, which is more like a DEP or water supply area, as you see here, will receive it at a 2-year interval. The chemicals each year are always taken from the Mass Department of Agricultural Resources approved sensitive area material list provided specifically for right-of-way. In these blue and yellow areas, due to the chemical restrictions, especially adjacent to the roadbed, more effort is put into controlling the vegetation with mechanical measures due to the chemical restrictions. We are seeking a positive two-way determination to confirm the maps, as well as a negative determination for the work that's included in the vegetation management plan. So I'd be happy to open the floor up to the commission. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to clear things up or describe anything else.
Did that answer your question about the 2A and we've had questions about a positive determination and a negative determination on the same determination.
Oh yeah, I think Mark mentioned that. So that's a very common with this specific. It's a kind of a. I mean, you probably haven't seen the RDA like this with the railroads, but we are seeking the positive two-way determination for the maps, but with any positive determination, it requires like the filing of notice of intent, as it says it on the determination form. So we do need the negative determination as well for the work included in the vegetation management plan that is approved by the Mass DAR.
Anybody else?
That answers the question of that. I if you don't mind, I'd
No,
like to ask
please
another
do.
question. It looks like most of the maps generally go through pretty wooded or vegetated areas, hence the need to keep those edges back, but it looks like a few go near either industrial buildings or there's a golf course and some other homes. On the days that you're going to spray this stuff within 12 feet of the track, are there precautions if there's a wind, and is there a concern for any of the people nearby there?
Yeah, there's not a concern because that there is a concern, which is why these regulations are in place. They created CMR 11 specifically for this, so that mitigates any concerns that you would have. The applicator is a licensed applicator with the state from Mass Department of Agricultural Resources, and there are restrictions on wind and water, rain. So they do fill out reports and they're bound. I don't know exactly what the wind restriction is, but I know there is restrictions for weather. So what Keolis will do is if they plan to have the applicator on property for, usually it's like 10 to 14 days, but they'll always schedule them for a few more days, assuming that there's going to be weather days where they can't spray.
Okay, thank you.
Chair, I have a question.
Yep, go ahead.
Matt, question for you. How long does this whole process take? Or is it strictly weather dependent? Is this a 1 day, 2 day, 3 day?
So what they'll do is in 1 day they'll do, like, say there's the Worcester line and the Fitchburg line and the Eastern Rail main line. They'll have the contractor, the applicator on site. They'll show up in the morning in let's just say for the Worcester line, they would show up in Worcester, spray all the way down to Boston and come back all the way to Worcester. So that line would be done in that day. And then they would do, I think there's like 8 to 10 different lines, and then some of the shorter lines, they might do a couple of lines in a day. So I think for the roadbed program, it's probably like 8 to 10 days to do the entire Keolis system, and that all happens, like they'll pick a week in May to June, which is the best time to spray when it's dry, and with the way the vegetation is starting to grow in. With that said, that's just for the roadbed program. There is mechanical treatment happens kind of on an as-needed basis year-round, and then the brush program, which only happens in the white, non-restricted areas that aren't in the blue or yellow zones in the areas of your jurisdiction. That will receive a treatment later in like the August-September timeframe as well, which it also takes pretty much the same amount of time as the roadbed program.
Does the town receive a daily heads up?
Yeah, so we are required to send you via certified mail the yearly operational plan every year with a notice for the dates that we're going to be spraying. So you should be receiving that via certified mail every year. We send it to your commission, the Board of Health, the Select Board, and Mass DAR, and NHESB, and we post it in the newspaper as well. And that's all in CMR 11. So we do keep up with everything. I personally have been doing that for like the last 7 or so years for Keolis.
Okay, I'm more concerned about daily use. I mean, for instance, we have a period of rain being forecast for the next couple of days. Would you be spraying just before the rain starts, or is it something? There must be things that delay the amount of spraying that you do.
Yeah. Weather is definitely accounted for, and like I said, that's why they scheduled the extra days. So if there is inclement weather that day or expected to happen, they have strict guidelines to follow, being the licensed applicator. With something like that, the exact day, we give you the date range that the spray is happening. It's like a couple week date range. We don't tell you the exact day that they'll be on the Middleborough, because that often happens kind of, that is the actual day is scheduled after we pick like the range where we're required to give the notice, if that makes sense.
Okay.
I have a question.
Yep, go ahead.
Do they provide a product data on the chemicals they use in data sheets?
I think it's included.
Yeah,
think
so
it's included,
we
I think.
in the yearly operational plan that we send to your commission, it gives the exact mixture of what is being sprayed every year, and it includes a link to the DAR website that has every chemical or active ingredient for those products with the numbers and SDS sheets and everything. So that's all in the yearly operational plan that we supply to your commission. And it differs a little bit every year, just from my understanding, just like the vegetation will build up a resistance to the exact chemicals, but all those chemicals are included, the exact mixture, and they will always be coming from the approved list from DAR for rights of way. Yep.
Sorry, I have a couple questions. Hey, Matt, so is the plan to try to start, we're in August, September is the goal. Is it gonna be this year? Are you looking to next year, May, June, to start?
Currently, we're operating under the 2020 to 2025 yearly vegetation management plan, with the associated 2025 yearly operational plan. So there's a 5-year vegetation management plan as well as the yearly operational plans. This is permitting for 2025 to 2030.
Okay.
So it's kind of like a renewal of what we've always been doing. There's no significant changes to the maps or the work. But yeah, it's looking forward into the 2025 to 2030.
Okay. I wanted to, I guess, also highlight one of the things that I think we discussed, but concern about on the Form 2, the determination of applicability. 2A, there's language in there and it's highlighted. You may have highlighted that, but there was concern, I think, about the language about this is binding, the determination. Boundaries confirmed in this determination are binding as to all decisions regarding rendered pursuant to the Wetlands Protection Act, yada, yada, yada. And I think you had sent in one of your emails language that the commission might want to or should consider including in there as a note that the determination is just valid for confirmation of the maps used for the work. So I just wanted to bring that up. or?
Yeah, I would suggest that, and that has been a concern with some, just due to the binding language of that determination. There is lines right under that positive to a determination on the actual DOA form itself, which kind of allow a little text, and I suggested, and many commissions have done the same, is some kind of language saying this determination is only valid for solely for the vegetation management plan. Any other work or anything else proposed by anyone else, or even Keolis, or even us as an applicant, would require a new filing. So this is solely for the vegetation management plan. If they do anything outside of that scope, like building a new track or putting a new crossing or culvert in, we would take the right steps and come back to your commission with either an RDA or a notice of intent. So I would suggest that language, and I think I did send you kind of what other commissions have used.
Yeah, you did, we have that, so, yeah.
Perfect.
So he is looking for a positive 2A and a negative determination.
Yes, -3, I'd say. If I had to choose, I'd say -3.
Correct.
So do I have a motion, or I'm looking for a motion to issue a positive 2A determination with a,
-3?
well, no, with
Negative
only
5.
valid for vegetation management plan as a condition, or some such language, and a -3.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you, everyone. I will definitely be in touch as we move forward with this and provide you all the updates as we go.
Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, of course. Have a good night. Bye.
Okay.
So that
next-
explains where it came from, is that was per their request. Legally, that was their requirement.
And it sounds like what they do in other towns also.
And I do recall, but I didn't recall where it came from, but it was upon Keolis' request.
Request, right. All right, so now we'll go, next on the agenda will be for Morrison Way. I will, look for a motion to open the hearing.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40 of the Wetlands Protection Act, the Lakeville Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, September 23rd, 2025 at 6:30 p.m. at the Lakeville Police Station, 323 Bedford Street, on a request for a determination of applicability. The applicants, Richard and Deborah Hanson, are proposing to remove and replace a septic tank and some associated pipes within the 100-foot buffer zone of Long Pond as part of the complete removal and replacement of the septic system. The location is Forecourt Circle.
You're,
Oh, I'm on the
you're
wrong
mixing
one.
up things there,
I'm on the
Nancy.
wrong,
Yes,
I am.
yeah.
I already told you before the meeting between 4 Morrison Way and
You can't talk
Forecourt
about that when we
Circle.
opened up for Morrison.
All right,
COC,
okay,
Mark's
so,
recommendations, right on the bottom of the page.
okay.
Everything looked good.
Yes.
I'm sorry to interject.
No, that's okay, good.
So
Go.
I got the site visit summary, and his recommendation is to approve the issuance of the certificate of compliance.
Okay,
So would you entertain a motion?
yes,
I will move to issue, for the board to issue a certificate of compliance for 4 Morrison Way for their previously opened, filing of Mass DEP 192-716.
do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right,
Aye.
thank you, Mark. So now, let's start again.
Done.
Forecourt Circle. Too many fours. I'll start again. Motion to open the hearing.
I move to open the public hearing for
Forecourt Circle?
Forecourt Circle for a sewage disposal system repair.
All right, pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40 of the Wetland Protection Act, the Lakeville Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, September 23rd, 2025 at 6:30 PM at the Lakeville Police Station, 323 Bedford Street, on a request for a determination of applicability. The applicants, Deborah and Richard Hansen, are proposing to remove and replace a septic tank and some associated pipes within the 100-foot buffer zone of Long Pond as part of the complete removal and replacement of the septic system. The location is Forecourt Circle, map 56, block 4, lot 23. Sorry about that. Okay, so who's here for?
Good evening, Matt Leone with Schneider, DeVignan and Leone. Everybody see that?
Yes.
Here tonight on behalf of Richard and Deborah Hansen with a request for determination of applicability. The property is located at Forecourt Circle and abuts Long Pond to the east. The property is currently improved with an existing dwelling, garage, pool house, in-ground swimming pool, a manicured lawn, and landscaping throughout. The applicant is in the process of renovating the existing house and has filed with this commission for a previous RDA for those renovations on March 25th of 2025. The applicant is now proposing to voluntarily upgrade the existing septic system. This new septic system design was approved by the Board of Health on September 17th, last week. A portion of this work, a small portion of the work, will be within the 100-foot buffer zone from Long Pond, but will not be within the flood zone. And the orange line that I have here is the 100-foot buffer from the edge of Long Pond. You can see here in pink I have the existing septic tank, as well as in yellow we have the new proposed location of new septic tank. The work within the buffer zone consists of the removal of the existing septic tank and piping, which is currently at approximately 88 feet from the edge of Long Pond, and the installation of the new septic tank that is proposed at approximately 89.5 feet, slightly away from the edge of Long Pond. Additionally, the existing distribution box, which is difficult to see on the plan, but it lies right on the 100-foot buffer zone, that's going to be removed and moved westward about 30 feet into this new location away from the pond. Work which will be partially within the buffer zone will include the associated excavation, obviously, which needs to be done to remove the tank and install the new one. The installation of septic system piping from the existing dwelling and then out into the new leaching field, and fill around the new tank, and obviously buttoning up with loam and landscaping. The work outside the buffer zone will consist of the removal of the old leaching field, which is not depicted on the plan. We do not have an accurate location of it, but we believe it to be right in the general location here.
Between the proposed tank and the new system?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yes, yeah. And obviously the removal of the old leaching field and the installation of the new leaching field, along with the regrading and landscaping that will be associated with the new system. There is an existing silt fence network that's been put in that will be maintained during construction to act as a limit of work and to deter any sediments during the excavation and construction of the components from traveling down slope and towards the buffer zone and Long Pond.
I'm gonna let Mark, our agent, talk on this one, but my first question to you
Sure.
before that is, who stamped that plan? Is it a land surveyor or an engineer?
That's an engineer, Dave
All
DeVignan.
right, so you've drawn in the 100-foot buffer zone, it's not on a,
I am a professional land surveyor. I'm a partner, and I was part of the construction of this plan. So we physically located the barrier of on the edge of the pond and the riprap seawall here, and then we created a 100-foot buffer zone based upon that.
but it's not on a stamp plan,
It's on only by the engineer. That's correct.
only by the engineer, not a land surveyor.
That's correct.
Okay, your turn, Mark.
Yeah, so, I was out on the site for the original RDA.
Okay.
And, which is wide. There's some, the siltation fencing is out there. Just looking at it, just one initial comment is that it probably, we would want it probably brought up and around
Okay.
to close that. And I know, and I was just out there the other day, the owners are, my understanding is they're interested in putting in a patio, which is separate than what we're discussing here.
Yeah, okay.
We don't have an application, we don't have a site plan. There was some discussion of trying to combine this RDA or this application with what they're proposing, but we don't have anything from them. But I was out there the other day just to talk to them.
Okay.
Sorry, that's just a little background
No,
for
that's
the
okay.
commission there, but, so I guess the original RDA we're discussing, they finished the work. They put in a new deck. The RDA was to also repair or replace the deck. So there's a new deck. It looks like it's brand new out there, but there's, some soil disturbance. Again, it has nothing to do with what we're discussing here, but
Mhm.
just to highlight that. So, so work hasn't begun on this, obviously.
No, we were waiting
leaching
for the,
field.
we just got approval from the Board of Health last week, so
Yeah.
we were coming in here as a next step.
Yeah. I know there was a question, or I believe there was a question, there's about, on the plans, there's a sewer pipe that runs from the main dwelling out to the pool house there. So, my understanding, maybe you can comment on this. I don't know if the septic is for a 4-bedroom or a 3-bedroom. I guess it's designed for a 3-bedroom, but there was a question, I believe, that the Board of Health agent still needs to take a look at the pool house to see if there's actually a bedroom, if it's, it's just a, what's in there.
With a technicality, if it would constitute a bedroom,
Right, right.
even if it's not being used as.
Yeah, I
I didn't know it had been approved. Did you get that understanding from Ed that it had been approved already?
No,
I
he
didn't.
didn't say it was.
No.
He said he still had a question.
Right, but you're saying it's approved by the Board of Health. I
It was
mean,
my understanding that was there a contingency on that approval? I did not present for that, so
Yeah,
I wasn't under the impression.
my
that-
understanding, and my apologies, I should have a more definitive answer. My understanding was there was a contingency that the Board of Health agent was gonna take a look.
do a site visit.
Yeah, because
Okay.
it's two stories. I have no idea what's in there, if it's, if there's even, presumably there's some plumbing in there, but,
Okay.
if it's to be used as an accessory dwelling unit, or, if it's another bedroom, if it had any implication for the septic that's being proposed, so.
I guess when talking to the Board of Health, we didn't get the memo that it had been approved.
Okay, then maybe I misspoke. I didn't realize that there was any, question as to whether or not there was gonna be a 3-bedroom design or not. If there would be a 4-bedroom design, it would just be an expansion of the leaching field.
So, and also, my question is this the third RDA? I think that was another question that we had. Has there been 3 RDAs on this to piece along these projects? And another thing that we talk about is the septic system within it's looked at as drinking water, even though it's Long Pond and it's not, it's still can be drinking water for the city of New Bedford, is that we require a notice of intent. And that could, unless you wanna come back to us with another RDA for the patio, which they're trying to put in, I think we talked about, Mark, about you need to file a notice of intent. This would be like the 3rd RDA, and you piece some work together. And on an RDA, we can't condition it that will uphold with DEP on an RDA. We can give you a couple of conditions, but not our full list of conditions of the machinery that you're gonna be having on that property that we do with a septic repair, or it sounds like it's almost a whole new septic system.
It will be a full removal and replacement. It's a voluntary, the system is functioning. They haven't passed in Title V from what I believe, but during their construction efforts, they've decided to upgrade the system.
Anybody else have any?
Nope.
Matt, Joe? Mark?
Just back to
Oh,
the,
there's 2 marks.
oh,
We would give
Commission
you
member.
credit for, I mean, we wouldn't charge you minus whatever it was to put in the RDA, but,
I would add, I'm not sure, because, I just heard about the proposal to put in a patio. I think I was out there last week, Friday, right? So that's new, we don't have an application.
the landscaping companies, when they're approached by the property owner, will call us when they know it's on Long Pond and ask, you know, what they need to do before they go in there and start ripping up and putting in a patio or whatever new, is it a retaining wall too, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, we don't have anything solid in front of us.
But they called and asked about it. It would seem like, that would be like, what, the 4th RDA to be able to do that?
That would be the third one. And I don't know if it's material or not, but I mean, you have a landscaping company, you have your engineering firm, I don't know, to come in.
Well, what do we always say, Joe? Come with everything you wanna do.
Absolutely. Because even if you don't do it, there's no harm, no foul.
Right. Yeah,
Chair?
I think it's a developing project. I'm hearing about the patio for the first time. They did say they wanted to do some additional landscaping, and I didn't know that they were gonna be filing another RDA with you. They've indicated that they would be.
They've called me now a couple times, I've
Okay.
met them on site, they're trying to get it on the next meeting, whether or not
Okay.
they will, but, to combine it all, there's gonna have to,
I don't wanna speak for the board, but I think that everybody would feel more comfortable with a notice of intent rather than 3 or 4 RDAs.
Okay.
And I think it would be better belt and suspenders for them from a paperwork and legal standpoint. Say, it was all permitted, this is how it was done, and it's,
Mhm.
we got a notice of intent, finished the work, closed it out.
Okay.
It's not a matter of, I don't think, and again, we wouldn't deny it. Just,
Mhm.
I think we'd feel just better about that piece of paper, and like Nancy said, the conditions that we have, just as our standard conditions, would be like, hey, great, belt and
Okay.
suspenders, we're both on the same page.
If there's new work that's being proposed in addition to this, that's
We'd
going
love
to
to see
be
you come back
in
with
the
that.
buffer zone, we can put the two
Get it all
together.
That's
Okay.
great.
and I can put you in touch, with its Della Rocco, landscape design. So-
Okay.
And then there's also the question of, that's out there about the health agent inspecting or that.
Yeah, that would also give us time to reassure if it's really been approved by the Board of Health or not. Just
Again,
wasn't under
the
that
only
impression.
change that would be if it was considered a bed, would be an increase in the size of the leaching field. I don't believe that the tank would change, nor the distribution box. It would just be a larger system going towards, Court Circle, so.
Okay.
As far as a conservation standpoint, I
Alright.
don't think there'd be a conflict there.
Chair, I have a question.
Yep,
The garage with the pool house with the room above,
Yes.
does that tie in at all with the septic?
That's what they were just referring to. I have on the plan that there's approximate sewer piping, that we haven't located, so there may be, some components that, or some drain that does go into the, main system.
Do you
And the
know
Board
if
of
it's
Health-
being used now?
I'm not aware.
the Board of Health agent has said he's gonna go do a site visit to determine what that,
If it's a bathroom in there or not?
doesn't matter if it's a bathroom, it matters if it has a bedroom.
Right.
You can have as many bathrooms as you want.
12 bathrooms doesn't affect septic size, 4
Right.
bedrooms, over 3 does.
Yeah, it goes by
In terms of
bedroom.
occupants,
Yeah.
which would drive up the usage.
So I look for a motion for a negative determination that requires a notice of intent.
Is that really what we're doing, or are we asking them to just come back with it?
Well, no, you have to, that's what the
Is it a
RDA,
positive
we're,
determination then? I thought.
what'd I
negative
say?
was
Did I
good.
say negative?
You did, yeah.
I'm not
okay.
doing good tonight. You gotta keep your eye on me. I had a long day.
Yes.
Yes, I'm looking for a positive determination that
Now I'm listening.
calls for a notice of intent.
Okay.
Okay.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
A second? All in favor?
Aye.
And with that, you said something about the fees or something being changed with the
Yeah,
NOI?
we'll give you credit for what you already paid in for a
For the
fee
RDA.
for that to our conservation fees.
Okay,
All right?
okay,
Okay.
great.
Yep.
Thank you.
So you want me to put you in touch with Del Rocco? It seems that,
I know
Let the
the,
applicant do that, I think
yeah,
would
we
be the
can,
better thing.
we can reach out to them and figure out what they want to do and how they want to expand the project and come in with the NOI.
all right, thank you.
Okay.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. I don't know, my 2 hours in the dentist chair did something to my brain today.
Familiar with that. Nice pen, huh?
Thank you, Joe.
I usually have two, but I usually try to
I
bring
know you do.
an extra one to it.
Oh, well, it just went dead on me, so I don't usually bring 2.
These guys all work the top. Here's the list, and you're not really picking them.
And again,
Okay, next up is 52 Clear Pond Road.
Whatever you need, I guess. I get it, I mean, they're in good relationships developing. It's good to work with people that know.
Thank you.
Oh,
Madam Chairman?
Well, I'm waiting for the conversation to be over.
Another one, wait.
my phone.
Okay, so,
Madam Chairman?
yes,
I actually have some plans here I'd like to pass out if I can.
okay, you can introduce yourself and we'll have to take a vote to look at them.
Okay, Derek Maxey, I'm the owner of 52 Clare Pond Road, and I live at 55 Long Point Road, Lakeville.
Okay, so, yeah,
Do we vote on the accepting of the plans?
yes, can we vote to accept these plans? These came off an enforcement order that we asked for.
Okay.
A complete delineation of the wetland resource area shall be done by a certified wetland scientist.
I move to accept the plan titled 52 Clear Pond Road, site plan of land dated September 23rd, 2025 for discussion at tonight's meeting.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Madam Chairman?
Yes?
If I may, I want to give you a stamped copy. When I brought them in today, they went.
I got them.
Okay, well, this one is not your file.
No, no way. Look at that rotten thing. It's got all the lines on it. We have stamped copies at the
All right, I
office.
wanted to make sure you had it, that's all.
I got it personally.
I need a new printer. So what am I here for today?
This was stamped by, the ones we have at the office have been stamped by a
Surveyor, Dave Madigan.
surveyor.
Yeah.
Yes.
You want a copy of this one?
So this is all from an enforcement order that went out where some wetland had been filled on this site for new members that aren't familiar with it. And this was step 1 that I just wrote you. Step 2 is a restoration plan will be prepared and presented at a regular scheduled Conservation Commission meeting. The plan will include details on procedures to restore the resource area to original conditions, including timeframes for the work to be completed. Any and all work done in this property will be supervised by the agent or a conservation commissioner. Contact information below. Once a restoration plan is approved by the Lakeville Conservation Commission, a notice of intent will be filed to condition the work. So those were the 2 conditions that came along, and this looks like condition 1 has been completed.
Madam Chairman?
Yes?
For the record, I purchased the property after it already had an enforcement order, and so I kind of
Right, you inherited it.
inherited this, and I want to make it right, and that's why we're here today. So the suggestion is to identify where all the wetlands are, and where they actually filled it with, like bark mulch or whatever.
Wood chips.
Wood chips and things like that. So we did some test pits a while ago. I did believe the chairperson was there and also John LeBlanc was there
Yep,
to witness some of the test pits that we did. Some of it's 2 feet deep, some 3 feet deep. So
and
some
it
of
was
it's
by
pretty-
a certified wetland scientist,
Yes.
Steve Schmiel.
Steve Shamil was there, correct.
Schmiel.
So he identified where the wetlands was or where it was, and we want to restore it back to the way it was by removing all the wood chips and then restore the land under it with seed and trees or whatever the board would like to do. But at the same time, this house is going to need a septic system, so we'd like to do an NOI that includes a septic system with this plan, so it's all on one plan. And that would be by Darren Michaelis. But I thought this is the first step to at least show you what's out there and what's needs to be done.
Madam Chair, could I ask a couple questions?
Yeah, I just, question about, and Derek, you know this, about putting two projects together. He has to comply and get off an enforcement order, it looks like, before he can even put in a notice of, intent. So it's almost like another step,
It is, yeah.
right?
Mhm.
So
So is
we need to approve that and say this is approved, and it could be another page in the plan of
Yes, correct, yes.
of the notice of intent.
Which is fine.
Okay. I just wanna make that really clear that he needs to get past this.
I'm not asking about the
Okay.
going forward, I'm asking
Okay.
about just,
Go.
through you,
Yep.
Madam Chair. Was this property and the adjacent property in common ownership at one point?
No, the property next, maybe 50 years ago, but not,
It just looks like from the GIS image that we have
yep.
here, the lot lines, it looks like very close to the buildings, like it was a sort of a commingled property.
Yeah, I think there was like 3 lots there that were all tied together back in the 50s, whatever, but currently Arthur Linton was the owner of the one that I purchased. And then Brad Bates is next to that. And then the Shings are on the opposite side. But it was Form A several years ago.
Yep, and that's
Yeah.
fine, but the reason I ask is, on the plan that you brought in tonight,
Yep,
the wetland flags show everything on the lot that you own.
correct.
But this, I guess the filling with the wood chips area, it goes onto the other lot.
I think that's where the wood chips came from, that side. I think that's how they came in there and stuff.
So I guess I just want to just make a clarification and you to explain or give us some background on what's going to happen with that lot line overlap where it's, you're not in ownership of, but there's maybe some violation there, and we don't expect you to obviously go on somebody else's
Right.
property, but
Right.
how does that get handled? That's all I'm kind of asking is,
Well, I believe Mr. Bates is selling to another gentleman, and I've had conversation with him because we're actually gonna remove it through his property. Because there's really no easy way to get back there to do it. And, the current owner and the new owner have both said, no problem at all. And if we get out there and we start digging, we find it goes further, we'll just remove it. I mean, we'll have the wetland scientists there,
Okay.
watching what we do there.
that's great.
Yeah. So if we have to, we'll clean up his side too, it doesn't matter to us.
Okay. It looks like you'd almost have to
It's
go
very close, yeah.
around onto their property to get around some of the wetlands anyway.
Yes, yeah.
We did have, Mark, I already lost it. They give, Derek some examples of what he needs to come back with for we brought some examples of, the plantings and stuff you need to do. I just wanna make sure you get it right. We need to know on this, plan, how many, square feet were impacted?
Okay, good. I believe it's, last time I did the math on this, it's about 8,700 square feet.
Right.
That we're gonna be working, obviously, we're not gonna do anything with the stuff that's not disturbed. We're not gonna do anything there. But as far as the disturbed area, it's about 8,700 square feet.
Okay.
Whatever you do, don't use that map to knock over your coffee.
No, don't worry, I won't. So this was a forested wetland that was impacted, so you're also gonna need a planting plan of exactly Find it?
Yeah.
To give them an example of how it would be done, and we also have a list of wetland scientists for you if you're looking for somebody to actually do that
Yes,
plan, where
yeah.
it calls out, like, you need to call out exactly what the plantings are gonna be, a
Right.
timeline. I just wanna make sure you get all the things you need to do to come up with the restoration plan,
Could I
okay? Yeah,
interject on that?
sure,
I think we as a board need to keep in mind that we're not punishing him, and I say that respectfully to everybody,
right,
that he's doing right by somebody else's wrong.
yeah,
And I see notes on this plan that actually call out a seed mix and a
Right.
process, and I don't think that I think it would be kind of overstepping to try to force him, the same kind of a replication plan as if a developer came in and said, I'm putting a roadway, and I need to fill in some of the wetlands, and I'll replicate back there in order to get my road through.
but replicating is way different from restoration. It's been impacted, a forested wetland has been impacted, and the regulations also call out that you have to kind of put back what's there. I'm not saying you can't do a seed mix also, but you're
Sure.
gonna have to do some plantings.
I mean,
And he knows that, he knows he's
Yeah,
not being
well,
punished, we've talked about this
fortunately,
plenty.
they didn't cut any trees down to
Right,
do this, so
right.
there's no stumps exposed or anything like that. But I have no objection to you guys do a site visit later and say, I want to put a tree every 30 square feet or something like that.
It
Yeah.
doesn't
I know there's
have to
like a
be
list of
trees,
different.
It could just be like high bush
Yeah,
blueberry or
sure.
whatever
Native-
typically
native
should have
stuff.
been
Native
there.
Yeah.
is the key word.
Yeah,
Pardon?
Native is the key.
Yeah.
right,
Native is
yeah,
the key word.
absolutely, yeah. And we'll know better once we get it cleared out and get this stuff removed
And
to
if
see
he
what's
gets a
there.
restoration person, that's what we're looking for, that he hires somebody that does restoration
Yeah.
plans, and then it shouldn't be on you to decide what's gonna go there, they'll tell you.
Yeah, and Steve mentioned that, he said they'll probably ask for certain, there's this list of like 5 or 10 different trees that they'd like to see put back there, plus the
Yeah.
seed, so.
Yeah, so he already knows that. Mark?
No, I was gonna make with the point you just made, that if you when you hire someone to come up with the restoration plan,
Yeah.
they're gonna come up with, the specifics that they recommend.
I was actually thinking of going all cranberries in there. I'm joking, everybody.
Yeah, it's a joke.
That's an upland plant.
That is an
Tell
upland.
him, Joe.
Yeah.
Joe knows that.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
But no, I understand, so whatever you guys want, it's fine, just
So
so we get
I
this
guess
fixed.
my question is, when do you wanna be continued to?
Well, Madam Chairman, if I may?
Yeah, go
What
ahead.
I'd like to do is sit down with Darren Michaelis, because we're not sure where the septic's gonna go. If you look at where the house is, there's a small area there where the septic can go, but no matter where we put it, we're gonna be within 100 feet of your wetlands. But there's the land that's at the bottom of the page, I guess, there's a lot of uplands back there, so we almost thought that it might behoove us to put a pump tank and pump it back there and get outside the 100-foot buffer.
Are you gonna get past that choke point?
Well, that's, I will need to.
1.1 foot.
I'll need the NOI to do that. So I was hoping to come back with a plan with Darren, with an NOI that does all of this, I guess? So it's one plan, so what,
Yes, get everything done at once, one shot.
kind of like putting a pool out back, you know how that is.
It sounds like within that, you may have a little bit of a restoration.
Correct,
And fill in, again.
Correct.
To get the
Yeah.
pipe
Yes.
passed.
Right.
Maybe creating non-wetlands to get through and then
Yeah.
replicating somewhere else.
it's a weird soils, you go down, it's about a foot of, let's call it wetland soils,
Hybrid.
then it goes right to clay. You know what I mean? It's kind of, I've never seen it, usually it's peat all the way down or something, but.
I don't know about how you restore and then what? Impact it again and replicate? Is that what you're saying? It
Certain
sounds
areas, yeah.
It's like putting a road in, I guess, right? And I would do probably a sleeve pipe for the 40 or 50 feet of it. That way, if you ever had to repair it, you got a sleeve there, you wouldn't have to touch the wetlands again.
Well, it looks like you have room on either side of the choke point, so can you just, without digging up that 1.1 foot, if you're doing a sleeve, can you just push it through? I don't know how
We're
that
gonna be-
works.
we're gonna be-
Overdig, right?
We're gonna be digging it up anyways, I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
but I just wanna give the board a
Well,
heads
I
up ahead of
think
time.
what we need to see first is your restoration plan.
Okay.
And then it will be, we see plans all the time, or it's like, this is the restoration page, this is the septic page, this is the other page, so it will be different sets of plans.
Yep. So would you be okay if, you know, my,
What's the new number?
no, number what?
Instead of 1.1?
What, the distance?
Yeah.
Oh, it would be just enough to get a pipe through. That would be, it probably wouldn't even, we probably wouldn't even go in the wetland, but I would say you have to dig it to get to it. But we're gonna be doing it anyways to peel all that stuff
Yeah,
off.
so I think to satisfy Nancy's
Yeah,
request for you to get us a restoration plan,
yeah,
get us a restoration plan, and if you redraw that edge,
yeah.
and if you needed to add some wetland,
5 feet or something like that.
well, it's a 1.5 times.
Yep. Yeah.
So whatever square footage you need to push that pinch point
Okay.
to get excavation and pipe through, show it.
Yeah, and
Don't-
add it into one of these
Don't do the work,
sections.
come back for the NOI.
Okay.
Having the room,
Right.
because we may approve it, I can't
Right.
speak
Right.
for everybody, but to get the restoration plan and allow you the room to do what you need to do and replicate to
So-
replace what might be lost.
So if it was like 200 square feet, whatever it is, say 30 square feet or whatever it is, find a section where it needs to be expanded.
Look at wetland flag 1-11 and 1-20.
Yeah.
That V right there in the back.
Oh, yeah, I saw, that was what I
Right.
was thinking of too, just
And
straighten that
because
out.
you're already gonna be restoring, you just add that.
Yeah,
See
well,
where I'm
it's
talking
actually,
about, that V in the back?
it's 118 and 120.
You could
yeah.
replicate right
Yeah,
there.
that would be fine. And then it gives us a path to get through. And like I said, I'd just leave it anyways, and I would probably leave it the way it is anyways, because there'd be no reason to go over it again.
Right.
Because the septic tank would be behind the house, not out here.
Mhm.
So, and we would be 100 feet away from all of that with this leach field.
That would be.
Makes the most sense, I
Yep.
think. Because I'll never fit it out front there and give you guys the setbacks.
All right. Anybody else?
Oh, I'm good.
All right, so, our next meeting is October 7th,
Can you maybe put me,
21st.
yeah, let's do that. 'cause
October
Give Darren
21st.
enough time to,
So let's have a motion to continue 52 Clear Pond Road to October 21st at 6:30 PM at the Lakeville Police Station.
Second,
No,
or
so
so
moved.
moved, sorry.
Second.
All in
Wait,
favor?
1 second. Was there
Aye.
a change, I'm sorry, was there a change of date in October for our meetings?
November.
It was November.
Yeah, it was, I think it was November. Why, is that a holiday?
No, it was, we changed 2 dates,
Didn't change.
November and December. was it?
I think it was November and
October
December.
11th is a holiday, it's my birthday. Just let you know.
Okay, so continue
Okay.
to, so I have a motion and a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Once again, thank you guys for what you do for the town. It's much appreciated. I know it's not fun to be out every night, but thanks again. Thank you, Matt.
Okay.
Thank you.
We're not punishing you, by the way.
Oh, no, that's fine. Punish me.
I'll wait for your birthday for that.
Thank you, guys.
Night there.
Thanks.
To do all of that plan. We're gonna do it.
Okay.
What happened to John, by the way?
He's in somewhere on vacation.
Oh,
He had
okay.
forgotten it.
Didn't hear anything from Shelley?
No, did not. Okay, so that's done. All right, next on the agenda, Crystal Waters Pond, 29 to 31 Taunton Street. This was continued because it was noticed incorrectly in the paper. So,
Excuse me, Chair.
yes?
We're here, Bill. Is it October 28th, the second one in the month?
Uh-oh,
The 14th and 28th of October?
no. Oh, you're right. Nobody else looked at the calendar. The 7th is the first,
First Tuesday.
14th and 28th. You're right.
Okay, 28th.
So Derek's gone, so
We'll have to make a new motion.
Yeah.
And notify him.
yeah.
Did you put it to the 21st?
Yeah, I put it to the 21st.
So I move that we change the Clear Pond, 52 Clear Pond Road, subsequent meeting to October 28th at 6:30 PM.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
And somebody will notify the applicant.
Mark,
Sure.
thank you. Lori will watch this too. Boy, can't get anything straight. No more dentist appointments
catch,
for
Bill.
me. Yeah, really.
You know, what kind of anesthetic is your dentist use it anyway, right?
Somebody to blame. Okay, good evening.
Good evening, folks. My name is Chris Frattaroli. I'm a wetland scientist with Goddard Consulting. We prepared the applications for this, and I'll let Keith introduce himself.
Keith Gazelle with Solitude Lake Management, Director of Technical Services.
So I guess the kind of the division of responsibilities here is Keith and his team are those that would be doing the actual kind of boots on the ground or boots in the water work, as it were, here. So I guess I do have, these were included in your NOI package, but I felt like maybe just for a quick reference, double-sided, one ortho photo on the front and the pre-survey map on the back. Just have handy.
Thank you.
So our site here is the Crystal Waters Pond, part of the Crystal Water Anglers Club, private fishing club here that uses the pond. The application we filed is a notice of intent, ecological restoration limited project. And I recognize that might not be an everyday application type that comes through here. So if there's questions on that, I'm happy to answer them. But the gist is just that we are doing something that is in one way or another impactful to a resource area, but for the purpose of improving that resource area. So the gist of the story here is that this pond experiences, pretty substantial blooms on a regular basis of some very problematic and invasive vegetation. So the list of species that have been noted here include coontail, bladderwort, a couple of pond weeds, filamentous algae, water lilies, duckweed, watermeal, and I'm sure others as well in the mix there. But those are the main items that we're hoping to address here. The pond itself is about 5.8 acres. Average depth is about 4 feet, max depth of about 6 feet. Pocoy Brook flows into the pond in kind of the southeast corner and then out in the north central part. And really what we're looking to do here is to implement an invasive species management program consisting of the application of herbicides and algicides to the water here. The real reason there, and I'm sure Keith can expound on this, but is that as these nuisance vegetation species proliferate, they choke out more desirable native vegetation. They end up contributing to all kinds of feedback loops that kind of really cause the problem to snowball and ultimately just degrade the quality of the aquatic environment. So our proposed treatment plan here consists of herbicides and algicides that are approved by both the US EPA at the federal level and MDR, Mass Department of Agricultural Resources, at the state level for use in water, just like we're proposing here. Similarly to the Keolis project that you heard earlier, all these applications are done by certified herbicide or pesticide applicators through the state of Massachusetts Department of Agricultural Resources. They all, go through continuing education training and hold a certification from the state. So that is ultimately the gist of the target of our program here and what we're proposing to do. The list of chemicals that we're seeking approval for includes Tribune, Aquathol K, Aquaneat, Clearcast, and Captain. And these are, I believe, they're not really an everything all at once sort of approach. They are tools in the tool belt to address problems as appropriate as they arise. So that's the overview of what we're addressing here and how we're proposing to address it. And I don't know if Keith has anything to add at this point, but I think we would be, happy to answer any questions the commission may have.
Yeah, I think the only thing that I would add is just that, as Chris said, these herbicides are tools in the toolbox, and I think our approach generally is to kind of employ what I'll call early detection and kind of rapid response approach to the management. So we'll routinely be monitoring the site so that we're catching any sort of increase in undesirable vegetation before it reaches kind of a really expansive level so that we can address it early. That mitigates the amount of herbicide and algicide that we have to apply, and it also mitigates kind of the management impacts that the aquatic ecosystem suffers as a result of kind of the removal of those plants.
Bill, you have a
Sure.
question first.
Go ahead.
What about the removal of the vegetation when it dies? Is that sitting in sediment or is that gonna be removed?
Yeah, so essentially the way the herbicides work is they'll address the plants. Some of them will translocate and kill the root, but essentially the biomass will sink to the bottom and decompose there. So that's why it's important to kind of manage small portions of the infestation so that, because what happens is that biomass decomposes within the system, it creates additional biological oxygen demand. So the bacteria that break that down are using oxygen in the water. So if there's a lot of plant biomass that dies quickly at one time, there can be kind of a too great of demand on the oxygen in the system, and you could have stress on the fish and other aquatic organisms.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
If I could. I don't know if you have all the answers to this, but the Crystal Waters Anglers Club, what are they gonna manage the pond for?
I mean, I think it's probably aquatic vegetation balance to create.
So they're gonna put fish in it. They're gonna fish.
Yes.
Are they gonna manage it with cold water species or warm water species?
I have not been told either way. I think they currently use it for warm water fish species.
The reason I ask is you said at the beginning of the presentation, Pukoi Brook flows in and out. I'm not sure at that point, but some of the brooks over in that side of town do have native brook trout. And I guess I want to make sure that it wouldn't harm that because of the outflow.
Coy Brook is a cold water trout stream, one of the few that we have
I know,
left
but I
in
don't know
Lakeville.
where it is, and there are other brooks, I'm just saying, there are other brooks over there close to that are, I think, tributaries to that. I know, and I know exactly where they are,
Okay,
that native brook trout still exist in those. Where I'm thinking of is a ways from there. I would have to imagine that the chemical, this is probably, we've seen other applications on drinking supplies or part of where they manage whatever weeds because it just chokes out for human use.
Correct.
And most of the product they use is inert within 24 hours or is what you're using the same?
The same, yes.
So, and I know you just said that if you killed all the weeds, a lot of biomass would create a negative oxygen that would not support the fish, but I guess if they were to let's just say hypothetically, they're gonna put some trout in there. They wanna toy with that.
Trout.
Would the chemicals affect trout if they use them while present?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, and I would question whether the system, given a max depth of 6 feet, would support cold water
Probably
fish
brown
species.
trout, portion of the year, be
Yeah,
stressed.
put and take
Have to go
would-
up into the
at
brook
best.
or whatever,
Yeah.
I fully understand that.
Okay.
Just where the native stuff is in that, brook, I just wanna make sure that it doesn't harm that.
Yeah, no, it would not.
and are you doing any testing?
I mean, visual, in terms of
Well, at
water
the
quality
outflow,
testing.
You're saying Pukoi Brook comes in and goes out, so are you doing any testing at the outlet to make sure that stuff isn't making its way?
We have not proposed that, no.
And I do wanna say, I like what they're doing. I think this is a good thing.
The neighbors have been complaining for years about the
Oh,
growth
okay.
of the vegetation. I've been over there myself to see that, yeah,
It's everywhere.
it's pretty bad. So,
Another question.
but let me finish, Joe,
Okay.
just for one sec, is that in other places like in Parkhurst, where you've worked before?
Yes.
And we have those testing regulations, I realize that's near the drinking water, so, but I would still wanna make sure that it's not getting out and going downstream.
Yeah, I mean, I think certainly there's an opportunity to potentially stop flow. I question whether that's a better option. I mean, I think what would happen, given kind of a partial lake situation, the concentrations of the herbicide would fall kind of below lethal levels pretty rapidly because it's going to dilute to non-treated areas. And then even if it does flow over at a lower concentration, it's going to further dilute. So the potential, I think, for there to be herbicidal effects downstream is pretty low. But I think if that's what the commission wanted to feel comfortable, we would certainly entertain.
Maybe within
testing.
24 hours, just to see, not hundreds of tests, but
Yeah.
just, and also that, when the vegetation dies before it sinks to the bottom, does it have the potential to go down McCoy Brook?
The vegetation, generally, no, because it's not going to
The lake
dislodge.
doesn't really have a current, no?
No, I mean, it does, but not a
Well, if
significant
it flows
one.
in, it flows out.
Right,
But generally, the lake is stagnant. There's just gonna be
yeah.
more of a pull at the inlet and the outlet.
And the plants remain rooted, so they don't break free from the sediment. So they're not floating around post-application. So they're not really mobile. They're gonna just kind of die and sink to the bottom.
Chair,
Yeah, go ahead.
is that a free inlet and outlet, or is that dammed up? I know there's some dams on the Porcoy on the
Yeah,
top
there is an outlet
riverside.
structure there. I need to confirm the level of control. It may just be like a sandbag situation. There are two like flowing pipes, I guess is what I'll say, through kind of an outlet structure. I don't know currently whether they have the ability to, either with a low level valve, lower the level of the lake to prevent kind of that natural outflow.
Okay,
But we can provide that information. I think.
sure.
I'm good. I mean, like I said before, I'm generally in favor of this. I'm satisfied with
I
what
would
they're
like to
proposing.
see-
They are proposing it for lake management and for
Right.
fish to be there, so I
Right.
generally think they're not a group of people that's trying to kill fish just to kill weeds.
No, and I'm
To
not saying
drive
any-
jet skis.
I'm not worried, that's not my point about killing fish. My point is that there's like 5 different things you're putting in there, including whatever that last one was, that kind of thing, put a red flag in my head, but, I think when this has happened before, your company comes to Lakeville and they do Parkhurst and we require testing, I'm just trying to treat everybody the same. And I
But
think
that is a reservoir though.
I do think that that's the difference is that, and particularly that's an old order.
Okay.
I think they're operating under existing conditions in the certificate of compliance. And so some of the understanding and some of the technology at the time that order was issued,
Okay,
it
was different.
It was different, but
And
there
you're
are.
only using sonar and dipole, you're only using 2 things. You're
Correct.
using a lot of different things here.
Yes, again, to have the tools in the toolbox. However, the only one that I think has a drinking water restriction or setback is the diquat herbicide, the Tribune. So most of them can be applied directly to drinking water reservoirs, and we do that without restriction. There is a setback to the actual intake, but in terms of concentrations or things like that, there is no restriction.
Question.
Yeah.
Have you considering it's a small pond that's shallow, have you considered using mechanical means of removing vegetation?
We have, and I think that may be part of the program as we evolve in terms of ongoing maintenance. I think the extent of the vegetation currently is, I won't say it's cost prohibitive, and it probably makes more sense to eliminate some of the root structures through herbicide application to enable more effective maintenance of mechanical means.
And use of biomats?
No, I think it would probably be mechanical removal.
Okay.
Bottom mats are difficult. They're pretty labor intensive
Labor
and
intensive.
difficult to maintain. Once they get sediment on top of them, you now have a bigger problem because you have plants growing on top of an artificial mat. So oftentimes we find that clients, will pay to have them installed, but don't always count for the maintenance and removal and cleaning and redeployment. And so,
Just wondering, you're talking different tools on
Yes.
the belt,
Yep.
that's an option. there.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
I would still like to see one test, like 24 hours, like at the outfall of where it goes into Pocoi Brook. That would
Could I-
be the only condition that I
To-
would,
To play off that, could I ask a question that
Sure.
might help with that?
yeah.
You guys are looking for this to be ongoing annually for at least a period of time?
Correct. Yes.
So, Nancy, would you agree to a test at the outlet within so many hours of the first application to ensure that it was a satisfactory negative result?
Well-
Or,
Yeah, I would, but, I also have other conditions.
Yep.
And I could add that on to one of them, because one of the other was, any additional treatment will be reported to Lakeville Conservation prior to any application. And we make that decision at the time. I would say we'll see how the first one comes back. Another condition would be a copy of the license of who's gonna be the applicator and what the signs are gonna look like,
Sure. Yeah. Perfectly reasonable.
yeah,
okay?
Yeah.
So I would say any additional treatment will be reported, and when it is, if they're gonna do more, I would say if something comes back, that something's getting in on the first test within 24 hours, we can say that now, and then we can always,
could I,
yep, go ahead,
again, to assist, I'm not
okay.
trying
No,
to
I
catch up,
got it.
but was it Keith?
Yes.
You had said that on drinking supplies, you use several of these chemicals, but one is the issue.
Diquat.
Diquat.
The Tribune. Yes.
Yeah, I think I have the data sheet right here on that one. That's when you want the test, Nancy.
No, I would say, I mean, how
That would, I
difficult,
would think that's when you.
I mean, it's fine. I
wanna
mean,
just come
you
up,
wanna
if
know
you
what's
just
going
do a
downstream.
test, you just come
Yeah.
up with that, cause there was, will you name them again?
Yeah, I do have the list.
Okay.
We have the diquat is Tribune, Endothol, it goes by Aquathol K, glyphosate is Aquaneat, Amazamox is known as Clearcast, and then the copper algicide is known as Captain
Yeah, the copper
typically.
algicide, I think, was what,
Yeah, so that's routinely used in drinking water reservoirs for algae control. Yeah.
but how difficult, what's the difference if you take one test, you can test for it all, right?
Yeah.
If anything went through,
Again,
so
I'm
it
not
doesn't have
opposed.
to be just specific, it's just one test, 24 hours.
I think we would typically provide the commission a year-end report
Okay,
for
that's
this
good.
that kind of will outline to you each year what we've done and why and what we recommend going forward.
Okay.
And within the confines of the program.
I'm assuming that this has been a particularly bad year for accumulations of aquatic weeds.
Yeah, I will say the one thing that was a benefit, we actually had kind of a real winter last winter, so there was some benefit as a result of that. But the kind of the repeat drought conditions certainly, have an impact on kind of increased, rooted plant growth.
I had a couple questions. So presumably, so the five herbicides, let's see, you're not, are you necessarily, every time you apply a treatment, are you gonna use all five, or you're
No.
just basically, it's something if you're finding this one is not as effective, or there's
It's
different?
really probably going to be
plants.
species dependent
Yeah,
and kind of
I'm
what the target is.
Certain species
Respond better to.
worse, so to
Correct.
speak,
Yeah,
to certain chemicals.
Yeah.
Meaning they die.
right.
And so to your point, you're having them approved here for use to.
Yeah, clearly the pond has kind of gotten, over vegetated, I'll say. So there's some kind of restorative work that needs to happen to kind of return vegetative balance.
You
But
want to put the crystal back into.
But beyond that, I mean, I think the way the program will work is there may be years we don't do any treatment in order. So it really then becomes kind of a maintenance phase to kind of continue to prevent the ongoing spread of that vegetation.
And their order of conditions would be for 3 years.
Love it.
So it seems like my next question is, the mapping of the vegetation is really helpful because you can, right, if you don't monitor it, you know, if you don't know what's there to begin with, you have no way to assess, so that's.
Right.
Is that, you mentioned like some type of annual report, and I'm sorry, I read through the NOI and I'm drawing a blank. I seem to remember that was flagged in there, that the commission would get, you know, these were the areas we treated, some estimate of how much biomass.
Correct. And generally it would be a beginning of the year, so any management activity, the vegetation assemblage, mapping, that similar to what you have, and then at the end of the season too, so that you'd be able to see the kind of the before and after. Okay.
So monitoring you. And to Bill's point about, you know, and I had the same thought that, you know, after they die, you can wind up with some kind of spike in, you know, anoxic conditions, you know, increased biological BOD. Is solitude, like after what's there is knocked back and you feel like, okay, we can manage, you know, the problem. It would seem over time, I mean, it's just you know, it's filling in, the lake's not that deep. Would solitude, I mean, do you have the capability to remove, you know, yeah, basically.
We do.
Yeah, it would, you know, I know that's not in front of us right now, but it would seem over time, and I don't know what this club would want to do, but we're kind of seeing the formation of a bog.
Yeah, which is the eutrophication process, right? It's certainly becoming more and more productive as time goes on. There's certainly legacy organics as a result of the decomposition of plant material, which makes the system more productive. So that's kind of what we're seeing.
Yeah. And I guess to the point, we talked briefly to DMF about my concern, river herring, but I don't think.
No, the DMF said that no herring going up there. There are 3 dams between there and the Taunton River.
Yeah.
So that they have there or anything of their concern.
Yeah, and again, this may be beyond, so that's not a concern, but
Yeah.
maybe beyond the scope of the NOI, but you always have the bucket biologists that want to introduce whatever species they want to catch, and if there's still native trout up in there.
Yeah, right.
I don't know if there's been any discussion with DMF beyond any concerns they might have, no.
Not in this particular project, but we certainly do number of projects kind of under
I think
DMF jurisdiction.
That probably would be directed right to the Crystal Waters folks, because
Right.
they're not managing the fishery afterwards, they're just managing the weeds,
So
so.
it might be something just reaching out.
Yeah.
Those largemouth bass are fun to catch when they're biting, but they
Yeah.
also like to eat little trout. Little trout.
They sure do.
Anybody else?
I'm good.
All right. Some of these are coming straight off what you said you would do, that I'm
Yeah.
gonna put on here for conditions. Okay, so I would need a motion to close the hearing
Do you want this?
and issue an order of conditions with these conditions. Copy of the license of the applicator, copy of what the signs are gonna look like, test in Pecoy Brook at 24 hours. Any additional treatment will be reported to Lakeville Conservation Commission prior to any application to determine if further testing will be required. Information summary from post-treatment surveys will be supplied to Lakeville Conservation Commission paired with treatment area maps and information on herbicide used. That's your own words right there, okay? All right,
So moved with the clarification that the test of Pequot Brook is at the outlet.
Outlet, yep.
okay. At the
At
outlet.
the outlet or, so in the pond,
No, on the other side.
Where
yes,
it
downstream of the
flow
dam.
downstream.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, that makes
Yeah,
more sense
yeah.
to me.
Okay. Do I have a second?
We have a
Or
second?
did I get a so moved?
I so moved.
Okay,
We have a second.
okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay.
Great. Thank you very much.
Folks.
Thank you.
Done.
Oh, no kidding. Small world.
All right. Okay, next up is 1517 Harding Street, which was continued from 9/9/25. I think there was a scheduling problem. Yes?
Yeah, we didn't have our file number.
Okay, that's it. Okay,
All set?
you're up.
Thank you very much. For the record, Brian Madden from LEC Environmental Consultants, representing the applicants for the ANRAD. So the ANRAD seeks to confirm the vegetated wetland boundaries on the 15.5 acre site comprised of 2 subject parcels along Route 44, basically between Muckies and the Taunton town line. This site was subject to a 2005 order of conditions where some initial site work had started back then. There was a single family dwelling that was previously on the subject parcel. You know, I'm sure everyone's aware of driving by this site for the past 20 years or so, but it's mostly open, cleared sand with some low growing vegetation up by the roadway, and then the back portion it contains the wetland systems and some forested uplands. There was a conservation restriction that was executed and recorded in 2006 that follows this dashed line, basically occupying 10.4 acres of the subject parcel. And so what the ANRAD is seeking to confirm is the bordering vegetated wetland boundaries and an isolated vegetated wetland boundaries, 2 of which are certified vernal pools. And so I'll just go through the resource areas really quickly. But this F series is the northerly extent of the flag boundary. It does extend further to the south within the interior of the conservation restriction away from Route 44 that was not flagged. So we're only seeking confirmation of the flags. This area used to be a former cranberry bog that also contains a certified vernal pool within its interior. And you can see this little finger coming out through here is an old drainage ditch that connects out to wetland systems in Taunton further to the west. There's an old cart path in this location. Sorry, you can't see. There's an old culvert and then a small little section of open ditch, bordering vegetated wetland / bank that extends off-site into Taunton. This G series isolated wetland is also a certified vernal pool that was previously certified. I was out there last April and documented both breeding activity, amphibian egg masses for wood frogs, and
Lots of noise.
salamanders, a lot of fairy shrimp as well. This isolated vegetated wetland system also is a certified vernal pool. The H series, there was breeding spotted salamanders and wood frogs in that system. And then this I series is basically the northerly tip to a larger bordering vegetated wetland system that continues further to the south, off-site. This isolated vegetated wetland, the G series, we're acknowledging that to be an isolated land subject to flooding. It's about 6,500 square feet in size. I observed up to 24 inches of standing water within its interior. That meets the 1/4 acre foot. And the H series certified vernal pool it also falls partially within bordering land subject to flooding, and so therefore it's protected as vernal pool habitat. We're not seeking confirmation of the BLSF boundary, the flood zone, just the vegetated wetland boundaries. And I was out there a few weeks back with Mark. Be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, this is a question I've been asking already. How many times is the difference? We already have an INRAD on this property from whatever year it was that nobody can find. And I keep asking for the difference between the INRAD that we already approved and this INRAD, because I really need to know what's different and how much is different. And the second thing is, the original INRAD never flagged that vernal pool up near Route 44.
I've not seen a copy of the ANRAD. I've seen a copy of the order of conditions. It was flagged as part of that application.
Several years later?
Yeah, I mean, if the ANRAD was probably, early 2000s, you would imagine? The order is from 2005. I've seen that plan of record. It does show that area.
As a certified.
Yeah, I think it was probably certified concurrently.
Oh, okay.
It shows it as flagged?
Yep. And the only difference, Mark and I went out there in the field and went to the specific areas. They connected this certified vernal pool to the BVW, but there's a clear cart path here. It's a raised bed with topography dropping off on either side, overgrown. Didn't see any evidence of a pipe in there. If there was anything ever, it's completely blocked at this point. But there's clear upland soils that we took some plugs in that location. But that's really the only change I see in the plan of record. And but it doesn't change materially anything. But other than that, these wetland boundaries are pretty much toe slope. So no substantive changes.
There are some differences between the plan and what was provided in the INRAD. So you're saying the only changes are like what?
This connection right here, I just described.
And we don't know if that's still a while. I guess already, I'm concerned about that little vernal pool that's so close to Route 44, which has been in question before, of people that buy that land can't use it. It's on Route 44, and they really can't get from one side of the property to another. You can see you can point out where the conservation restriction goes around like this. And the property owner, not you, you're only doing your job, but the property owner has already tried to get, I want to say us, but we did go to Wildlands Trust, has a conservation restriction on it. They wanted to buy the property and get from one side to the other, and it wasn't allowable. I think conservation kind of got blamed for it, but I think Wildlands Trust was in on that decision too. It would have taken
Oh yeah, and that was a prospective buyer who was looking at it, who's no longer involved. They walked from the site.
But it doesn't change how close that.
Oh no. I mean the conservation restriction is what it is.
Right.
If someone comes along and wants to try to modify it, there's a long road for that.
We've been up that long road and it had a stop sign on it.
But yeah, at least this ANRAD application, we're not proposing any
Can
activity.
you go along from the whole side
Oh,
all
yeah,
the way
yeah.
around on the
Yeah, let
conservation
me,
restriction?
so it's 10.4 acres, you know, this is the town line. The CR goes here. It's very odd, this, you know, nowadays you see CRs having more straight line segments. This has like a million different changes in direction.
It looks like it sort of runs parallel
Yeah.
to the
Exactly.
line.
I think it was trying to mimic, in some respects, like a 25-foot,
Yeah.
no touch. You know, it does go a little bit higher in
So
locations.
even with total slope all the way around?
For the wetlands, yeah, so it's all pretty much in the high side and on the flat.
Okay, so even though those flags aren't exactly the same on that first little vernal pool, it doesn't change the restriction, so I guess I'm feeling better about that.
Yeah, and we are acknowledging that this is ILSF and meets the calcs.
And we're just approving the wetland lines, right?
Well, like I say, we already approved the wetland line, I just wanna make sure that it's not different from the wetland line we approved before, and if it is, why?
And he's saying it's generally not. other
Right,
than-
Yeah.
except for that one little place which is already under the restriction, right?
And yeah, and here you can see, this is the full 2 parcels, the 15.5 acres. Basically, everything cleared is up at the front and everything not cleared is
Is
in the
down the bottom,
CR
right.
area.
Okay. I'm better.
I think he's done his job.
If anything gets proposed out here, obviously we'll be back.
Right.
Or someone will be
They'll
back.
have to be back. So we're looking
ORAD.
to close the hearing.
Make a motion to close the hearing and issue an ORAD for 15 and 17 Harding Street. Land provided, the ANRAD provided, really don't have a number to provide.
No, but you can.
But for
let's,
land
see.
abutting on Route 44,
The date.
1517 Harding Street, plan dated, August 19th, 2025.
Okay, great.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries, right?
Yeah,
Got
All right.
any ayes there?
yeah.
Thanks so much, everyone.
Okay.
Good seeing you.
It's just very sensitive. Well, you know already.
I
We've
know,
already been
yeah.
around.
Yeah, I was just out in the.
All's well.
Yeah, I was just out in the field with Scott a couple weeks ago, so. All right, thanks, everyone. Take care.
Okay.
Have a great night.
You too. Thanks, Mark.
Okay. Where are we? I got too much stuff here. Wonder if I can get rid of half of this.
You still have too much.
I know. Meeting minutes. Joe, you're up.
I make a motion that we approve the minutes of the July 8th, 2025 Lakeville Conservation Commission as presented to us.
I am assuming you've gone over a fine tooth comb?
Yep, picked it to pieces.
All right, you need a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I abstain.
Right.
Yep.
Okay,
Just want to make.
yep. One of,
This is a great picture.
Oh,
Yeah.
he's got a lot of them, yeah.
You got a lot of them. We're gonna talk about this, are we?
about what?
Thank you.
This picture right here.
Well, after we finish the agenda, that's under old business.
Under old business, right?
You got one, everybody got one. Okay, so,
Could I make a suggestion
sure.
on item 8 that we continue that and wait for, we're missing 2 members?
Okay, well, I don't know if I can. Warrant review's gonna be coming up. And I put a placeholder on the warrant for, I'd like to at least talk about it.
Yeah, I don't want to stop you from talking about it, I just,
All right.
I just would love to have a full
That's
board.
kind of more of a after the fact, cause. All right, so I'll say what I've done already. We talked about putting a wetland bylaw on the fall town meeting. we talked about hiring somebody to write it. We don't have money. We cannot use state money to hire somebody to help us write a bylaw, to come in here and actually write it for Lakeville. I've seen bylaws in the past where you take a piece from here, a piece from somebody else's and whatever, and we need a bylaw for Lakeville. We need a bylaw that, we've talked about a small one for a 25-foot no touch for new construction. And we've talked about being able to fine. So it would probably be just those two things. Because there's no boards in town. We would be the only board in town with the ability to be able to fine. Because we just did how many page order of conditions for 160 Bedford Street. And we have no teeth whatsoever. And we can tell them all these 10 pages of steps and things that they have to do. And as we'll see under old business, we have no way to make sure that happens. Okay, so we can't use that money, and we have no money to hire somebody to help us write a bylaw for the spring town meeting. So when I was doing some research, which I passed this out, we can't use our state fees, but every year we take in our agency fees, they would be called, where it's $100 to put in a notice of intent. That's conservation. That has nothing to do with DEP or the state. So in 2023, it was $8,000 whatever. And in 2024, it was about $6,000. I did sit down with Mike Ellis, the town accountant, and we talked about this article for town meeting, which I already have a placeholder in for, would be for a revolving fund for those fees that would be for conservation, that will go back to conservation. It's taken in from conservation, and right now they have a general highway to the overall
budget.
Yeah. General fund. So it's conservation money. This revolving fund would put that in a revolving fund. We can use it for administration. We can use it for upkeep on lands that we have oversight of. We could use it for chipping in for CPA, buying a piece of land. You know, sometimes you need that other little piece to get a big state grant. You need a little piece to put in. And we can use it for administration, which would include hiring somebody to write the bylaw that we want to come here with us, and hopefully for the spring that we would have something ready. So this is just an avenue to get to the money. You know, I had a lot of people giving me opinions about,
So
you
you're
know,
not.
I'm not asking for a bylaw.
You're not looking for the wetland
No,
bylaw with what's
no,
on here.
I'm not. I'm just
You're looking
for money.
to talk about voting on that.
Yes.
Yeah.
I still think we should have full board, but I'm glad you brought that up, and it's good clarification. Thank you.
Right.
Uh,
Well, I just came up with it. Everybody had an opinion of how the bylaw should be and where it should come from and this and that, and it was too much. And I've learned from the past that shoving a bylaw quickly on for a fall town meeting is just not how
So-
it should go. And we don't even have the money to hire somebody to help us.
so
And I don't think why can't we have that money? It's coming in for conservation.
well, it
It should
sounds like
stay
it's a
with
one-time
conservation.
expense is what we need for the bylaw.
Say that again?
It sounds like.
No, it's revolving.
No, it's a one-time expense.
Oh, right. But that will
Writing the
revolve, and
bylaw
we
is-
can use something else, use it for something else another time.
For
This,
what?
I told you, for upkeeping on, say, the biggest property, we'd have some money so somebody could do some maintenance on the biggest property that's been hanging on us for years and is in bad shape. Or, all the work that, was done on the Boy Scout house that never got helped along, that would had to be all paid by
Donations.
Donnie.
Volunteer.
Dawn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Things like that.
I'm just, if we're brainstorming, I think there's different techniques that are becoming more and more viable in terms of, it's almost like the stormwater, low impact development. If I know there's the willow fence, but there's other, biological, other methods that if people want to build right on the pond, you could almost say, not right on the pond, but if you employ this method, anyhow, my apologies, I'm not being clear, but, I mean, you'd want it could be a pilot project to help fund, evaluation of some of these newer techniques that I'm not doing a good job selling, but there's, there's a whole bunch of, my 5-minute elevator or 2-minute elevator speech just.
Well,
went
it's
out the window.
extraneous things that we can't, it's real specific what we can use our state funds for.
You may need to have to hire a drone operator sometime to look into the wetlands or something like that.
Like Rocky Woods?
Yeah, something like that,
Yeah, like what Bill just said.
You gotta be careful with that. 'Cause I've heard that be abused
Oh, yeah. Oh,
in
yeah.
certain towns that have bylaws where they're trying to find violations and it's not legal to put a camera on somebody's property without their permission. It's a violation of their privacy.
But if someone's.
I'm just saying,
Right.
you didn't suggest that, but
Yeah.
I'm saying a future board may think it's a good idea and violate somebody's rights because you got them a drone to go check stuff.
Yeah, but if
Yeah,
someone's
yeah.
looking for work on the property and they come to us to get it approved, we
Oh.
obviously get the okay to take pictures of
Obviously,
it.
yep.
Like,
Yeah,
same
yeah.
as we can walk on it.
Yeah, like I say, I'm not,
Yeah.
I just brought it up because
Yeah.
I heard it recently that charges were filed against Conservation Commission members in a certain town because they were doing that without permission. Just,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
all I'm saying is you get 5 years of turnover in a board and then somebody gets,
Right.
a little bit of authority and they say, I'm gonna do this, and nobody's there that has the history to say, you can't do that. And
But-
then it's a problem. You just gotta be careful. But
That's another thing I'd like to put on the next agenda is that we need a sign off. We don't have it for an RDA right now. We have that sign off for a notice of intent. I can't even remember what project came up and I asked Lori to look up for the signature page where we could go on the property and it wasn't there. I
Yeah.
think we need to be more frugal about that and people need to sign for an RDA too. If we don't have permission to go on the property, then that's an incomplete almost application, I'd say. We need to be
you
able
mean
to
the
go.
applicant needs to sign?
The applicant
Yeah.
needs
I
to sign.
thought that's been done on a regular basis.
I think
It has been, but I guess it got overlooked a couple of times. We need to be more
Okay.
conscious of it.
Okay.
You know, the thing came in, everything was complete, but that page was kind of missing and nobody picked up on
Okay.
it. So, and there's nothing for an RDA, but that should be one of the criteria for an RDA too, that we have the permission to go on the property, because I think Mark was a little nervous about that too, because he's new and people don't know him.
When is fall town meeting?
November 12th. So I would like to, we can do it again, but I would like at least a vote that I can come up with the next meeting for some language and turn it in, and if we need to change it, we can change it, but I need to get some language, better language in.
Well, I don't think you need a vote to come back with, I see you gave us like an AI overview
Yeah.
of what you kind of did.
Well, and I
research on.
I talked to the town accountant, and you can see what I gave you is we came up with number 1 is the better option. Cause, option 2 has a couple of different things and it gives you, establish a limit and all of that for your revolving fund. I don't
And
think,
I
I don't
haven't had
wanna
a.
do that.
And
Okay.
again,
I
you
just
gave it
passed
to me
out,
at the
right.
beginning of the meeting, I haven't had a chance to digest, but I'm happy to say, if you
Okay.
want, make a
All right.
motion for Nancy to come back to the next meeting with something.
Okay, well, I gotta turn
And-
it in also, so this, if warrant review comes, they have something to look at, which just would be,
Well,
it wouldn't be the exact language. It would be just what you say at town meeting. This is to establish a revolving fund.
Yeah, I think we need at least one more meeting.
All right,
You're asking us to vote on something for the warrant, and we're gonna keep changing it between now and then?
all right, well, I guess the thing is, I might have to go to warrant review myself to explain it. And I'll have to say that
When is warrant review?
I can't help it because these people aren't here. We still have a quorum.
All right, Bill, make a motion on what she wants. What?
I
Yeah,
want a
you wanna?
motion to,
You want to get it started and to
She
finalize
wants
it
us
with
to
a
say
full
get started,
board.
but then she's gonna go with something and get it approved without us.
no, it
Well,
doesn't get
gone.
approved. Warrant review doesn't approve the language of what it is. It just says you put it on town meeting, we can withdraw it.
When is?
If it doesn't
warrant-
work, we
when
can
is the
withdraw
select
it.
board's warrant review?
I think it's next week.
It could be, it's pretty soon, yeah.
Yeah. So it can always be withdrawn. So I would just like a vote to be able to, put a warrant article on for a conservation revolving account. And I'll bring back the language to the next meeting. If we need to pull it, we will. But
Well, time's on our side.
no,
That's the only reason you would want to do that.
yes,
So I'll make a motion
yep,
for Nancy to present a placeholder for the proposed revolving account for conservation to use their own funds for their own needs, being more specific by the time we go to town meeting.
Yes.
yes, okay,
You have to specify what those needs would be.
Yeah.
And that's, yeah, so we're not, this is not us voting, and I'm not making a motion right now. And I withdraw what I've said so far. This is our discussion. All we're gonna do is give her the opportunity to go and say, we're gonna put a placeholder, and we're gonna discuss it at the next meeting. And we may say, nay,
how
don't
about I
wanna,
already put a placeholder?
then why are we voting it? We don't need
You're
it then.
ratifying it,
No.
no?
That's at the next meeting. If you already have a placeholder,
Then we don't
and
need
you
to
just
vote.
went and did it, then so be it.
Well, it'd be nice if I had some backup that I already
Oh.
did it.
But we don't know what we're approving. We wanna discuss that.
Well, she's gonna bring it back to discuss, but because we're on a full board here, I see your point where, it's better off having a full board to vote on it.
Yeah.
But whereas is a time constraint, at least you can get the wheels going and you can bring it to the next meeting.
All
And
right,
then we
then-
discuss it and vote it.
And he already said, you already said it. Doesn't matter that I already did it. You already said to put a placeholder on. So what's wrong with that motion? You're voting to have me put a placeholder on for a conservation revolving account. And I'll bring back language to the next meeting.
And then we'll vote on that. What if we have 5 again and not 7?
And next meeting, I'm not gonna be here.
We can't,
Okay.
yeah, say we can't always wait for everybody to be
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
Anyway, so I'll go
But
with that.
you're asking us to draft a bylaw without drafting a
No,
bylaw.
no, I'm not
Yeah.
asking you to draft a bylaw, I'm
But
asking for a revolving account.
Oh.
It's not a wetland bylaw.
I'm in favor of a revolving account.
Okay,
I still think that for approval at town meeting, you're gonna need to be pretty specific on what it can be used for. There's gonna be a lot of
I'm
questions as to.
sitting down with the town accountant, he's been really busy, and he gave me some
Ah.
guidance on this, but not to come up with the exact language. We're gonna sit down, I'm gonna work with the town accountant about, it was his thought to go with the chapter 40, section 8C. That's what I'm going with. That was, because there's 2 options, and that was the option that he thought would be the better option. So. All right, so let's just stop, and I'm just telling you, I'm advising you, I put a placeholder on the, I put a
So-
placeholder on the,
All right, so,
what you
I
gonna do
just
to
see
me?
pushback from the town. There's a lot of people that are very frugal in town. I'm one of them, but I'm just saying, maybe there's a backup plan of revolving account or one-time funding to draft the bylaw.
So can I
No,
get Clark?
I'm not voting for that, because why can't we have that money to use for other things too? Not just one time. We can have that money to use for other things. There's people in this town that wanna buy more land to save and protect it. We
That's
could
what
be,
CPA fund's for.
yeah, but you can't, you should, CPA funds get approved, like in Middleborough, you can't just approve buying that whole piece of property. Maybe you can get a grant, and maybe you need like 10% from somewhere else to be able to get that money for the grant, because they don't give out grants, and we're just giving you all this money. They want to see what you're doing to help.
It's a match-
How
a
about
matching
we could
kind.
use it to work on invasives on our property that we oversee, like the Vigors or Tamarack Park. that we oversee. That money can be used for a variety of other things that we can't use the state money on. And it's not gonna break the town budget. It's like $8,000 one year, $5,000 one year. It's not gonna break the town budget. And to tell you the truth, at town meeting, I'm the one that's probably gonna have to sell it. I'm gonna tell you right now, the state is cramming stuff down our throat all the time. We need to start making some tools to protect ourselves, is all I can say, and that's what I would say.
Can I just get some clarification? So the funds are from fees?
Yeah.
From- yeah.
Conservation.
And so-
Conservation fees.
And so.
Most towns do
Where
that
do those
already.
revert if we don't use them? Do they get?
General
dumped?
fund.
They go right to the general fund.
And at what point annually? I know from experience, this was, something similar happened, but, yeah, so it's wetland fees that. are
So,
Alright.
why don't we just use them?
We can't. They're slated for the general fund. I told you, I sat down with the town accountant. I'm not just coming with this out of my own self.
Joseph?
So they don't necessarily sit there all year. They go, as they come in, they go into the town fund.
No, I don't think they go into it. I don't understand how the process works. It's like they're slated for it, so they don't slide in there probably till the end of the year. I'm sorry, Joe, I
think
got
if
your
they're not
pen.
used, then the town can take them.
And so then
And
that's my point is,
transfer.
if they're not used, then why don't they get used? If they're there and we do use them, then what's the problem? Why do we need to vote on this? You know what I'm saying?
I don't think
It
we
depends.
can.
One town that I'm familiar with, you had to have approval of the town
Town,
administrator.
Yeah.
For conservation, but it was how it was structured in that town.
Yep.
And they couldn't get approval.
Yeah, it will be in the
Town
thing, it will be
administrator,
without
and then
further
ultimately it was
appropriation.
just, now we're gonna, end of the year, end of the fiscal year, I think it was.
And we
Yeah.
would be able to decide and spend it without further appropriation, is how it's supposed to, is another way it's worded, and I will come back with some words, but let's not
Well,
even take a vote.
I won't
Let's-
approve it if it's not all
Say
spent.
again?
I will not get on board if it's not approved to be within whatever language for us to get this revolving fund. It has to be, everything has to be approved by a board vote.
Right, why not? I mean, what, a board of
Yeah.
conservation?
Well, you just went and put a placeholder
No,
without
without-
our approval.
No, without further appropriation by somebody else. It's our money and we would approve it. It doesn't have
Right,
to
but
go through
I
like the
think,
board of
I think if
selectmen
the agent
or,
wants to spend on something, he has to come to the board at,
Yes.
in a meeting,
Yeah.
of course,
and or anybody else.
of course.
That has to be within the language,
There goes my jet ski.
right?
Yeah. And I mean, if the
To be
town,
spent by the Conservation Commission without further appropriation, I believe is how it was kind of worded, but it doesn't matter. I
If
don't
it-
even care about the vote.
if
You
the
know, you can
town's not,
barbecue me later.
if the town's not worried about not having the money that we raise, the commission raises, and not getting that, maybe they would be happy with a ceiling or a limit. We can only have so much revolving amount.
And you would imagine,
throwing
since it's not increasing taxes,
Yeah.
It's not gonna break the town's budget.
it's not really, it's
$8,000,
not,
$5,000.
it's not really the town's budget.
You're right,
The town wouldn't have it if it went for the permits.
right. Okay, so let's just leave it and move on.
Or you have a place for that, right?
I got a
Okay,
placeholder.
place, okay.
I'll come back with some language.
Joseph's not gonna be here. Do you wanna do it in absentee vote? Or you wanna hear it first? So maybe you
I
should,
don't know about Mark, I think you're already putting like conditions on it for you. You've even seen some of the language, so, but I
Yeah.
guess that's good to know.
Let's see the language.
well, that's what we're here for. Discuss it and, put the rules down.
So we got a little bit of old business?
Yep. 160 Bedford Street. Matt, how about you? Talk about this one.
Yeah, nice picture.
So, yeah, we've received a call. They were moving equipment, some product over from another unit to another unit. and getting material in the air. Obviously,
We're
we
not
had
adjourned
an
yet.
order condition that.
It doesn't matter,
That
it's
was-
all right.
How is this being, is it a windy day or?
No, so what they did is they had, a compressor going into another tank with another hose, pumping sand or some material over to another tank, which the lid wasn't contained. So what happened is all the dust was going in the air and going into the neighbor's property.
Looks like bulk carriers in the picture.
Yeah. Yeah, so what
Am I
they did
supposed
is,
to sign that one? Is that
what
tonight?
they did is they had the generator
Lunch day, you can see what.
pumping air into to the lower part, pushing all the material into another unit. So, we have it in our prior meetings, I think 2 weeks ago, that no work should be done on that property.
Right, and here's what I've come up with by calling them and saying, there's work done, whatever, it's complicated. They rent a space to that truck. So now they're out of the picture. So they're saying that they're not doing any work on their property, but they're renting that space to a tractor trailer and they're coming in and working on that. The
That's-
people who are renting the space.
It's semantics, they're responsible for
Right.
any activity on that property.
Yeah. My understanding from last meeting was they were gonna develop parking spots to shuttle over, and they were gonna come up with plans to build something. There was nothing brought up that they were renting out to other construction companies.
Renting on the
So
spaces.
going back to you, right, Mark?
Yeah.
And the order of conditions went out that Deb wrote,
Well,
and
they-
when she was at the meeting, the upgraded ones, and they've gone out, they haven't been recorded in Plymouth
No.
yet, so they shouldn't be doing any work yet, and there are so many specific steps. You all saw that order of conditions when it was finalized, I'm sure Lori emailed you. I've called DEP, I called emergency response with the first oil spill was there, said it wasn't enough, it needs to be at least 10 gallons, I think they said. It was supposed to go to the strike force team, who said they've been out there before. I've called repeatedly. I guess it's called a strike force because they're not supposed to tell you when they were going. I was thinking they're gonna tell us when they were going, and Mark could go along also. But, it's like a big secret. I don't know. It's called the strike force because they probably strike
Out of the dark.
out of the dark. So, like I say, going back to the bylaw and stuff, it would be nice if we had the ability to fine when things like that happen.
Again, at no cost to the taxpayers.
Yeah,
So I can see the next step is me reaching out to Kenny,
yeah, go ahead.
and
That's
just
it, Kenny.
saying, bringing the order of conditions, and it's, here it is, there shouldn't be anything ongoing on the property until you've met, the prerequisite conditions, and then you gotta follow the order of conditions, or you're in violation of the order of conditions. I know it's been going on for a
Right.
long time, but
It's very
cease-
frustrating.
Cease and desist.
It's very frustrating because you
Cease
took
and
those
desist.
pictures and that stuff could be blowing right into poor Donna's property.
Yeah, it's.
It could
like I
be
said,
what?
To follow what we put out, right? That they were supposed to come with drawings, they were supposed to show how many parking spots, what was gonna be the plan of action, reapply, and it sounds like they're turning, converting into a rental space for trucking. It's just,
Yep,
It's been a rental space, and those trucks are parked right on top of where the detention pond's going, so they're not gonna be staying there that long.
so to me, that seems like the next step for me to contact. I don't even know if Kenny, one of my questions is, are you the person that's managing this site? Am I dealing with the person that I need to be dealing with? Because
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds like, I don't know exactly what his role is. I assume he's, the point of contact for whoever owns that property.
Manager in residence.
Yeah.
He's the guy
but-
that's there every day.
Yeah. But I agree with Matt, again, that,
It's
there's,
frustrating.
and
Which just goes to the point that it would be nice if we had the ability to fine.
Yeah.
Because
Well-
we'd be rich by now on that project.
It would go into the revolving account. They'd be paying a lot of money.
Well, I don't know if a cease and desist would bite.
Well, that's the other thing. I mean, if you ignore stuff as a way of doing business,
All right, we need a motion. Are we done? Can we have a motion
Yeah, we
to
can-
adjourn? Because Joe's cleaning up already. He already tried to clean up. Motion to adjourn?
Do we have 19 captains, right?
Joe's got
Say again?
senior word
Captain's way.
even me.
Either so moved or
Oh,
seconded.
no, stop. We didn't talk about Captain's Way.
it's
I
not.
couldn't find the other one. I have to, no, I shouldn't say that. I still keep forgetting to look for it.
We're not
I
adjourned.
get to work and I
Joe,
just start
we're
working.
not adjourned.
Oh, okay.
We need to talk about Captain's Way.
Oh, that's right. Oh, we somehow skipped that. Oh, yeah.
Okay, so DEP came, Bill was there, Mark was there, I was there, Joe was there. They have 75 days to respond, and they said, good luck with that, because, Southeast region covers 88 towns.
Yeah.
So, while they're supposed to respond within 75 days, it was basically good luck with seeing it in 75 days. But they will keep us in the loop of what's happening, and we'll go from there. We'll just keep leaving it on the agenda to
Yeah.
report on.
I had talked to Nancy before the meeting, if you don't mind.
Yep, go ahead.
I think this is gonna be a good teachable moment for us with seeing how the state handles it. Especially if they approve it, to see if they condition it in certain ways, because I know it was a ton of concerns, and I've always gone down that road. That's just that little basin at the bottom, and so, again, I just love to see how the state handles it, and I think it would be good education for us to see if they do approve it.
Right, because I had mentioned to Mark, a lot of times people will bring up, oh, we can't deny it because then we lose control. But what I got out of that site visit was that if DEP doesn't uphold our denial, they're gonna slap them with more conditions than we would have done and stricter.
And that's what we'll learn from.
And then they will have the enforceability.
And years ago, I'm going back decades now, it used to be if we had an applicant that was giving us a problem, we would say, here's your choices, us or the state. And I would always say, and the state has finding ability. And that always, okay, I don't know that situation still exists. I would say to,
Hence those
And they have more
clippings
research.
with Maura Healy trying to streamline and cut out local boards from the process.
They have more,
process.
they have available to them more research stuff like that drainage
Right.
thing, and they
Right.
actually can look at old maps and figure out,
Yeah.
you know, the hydrology and stuff better than we could
There-
have done.
There's really gotta be I'm familiar with those. The soils, that's amazing. Talked to an engineer, they have, looks like they've mapped wetlands and stuff, and they all have different names, and all the different, and it's like, one says Situate. That's poor hydric soil, but it's not a wetland. And they know how, somehow the state mapped everything. And the engineer said they're incredibly accurate. They're more accurate with that than the wetland line.
and there's something like 38 different soil types in southeastern Massachusetts. And in that information, there's like only 7 of them that are suitable for on-site septic system improvement.
Yeah.
Involvement.
So what if the state does not get back in 75 days?
And we wait how long it takes them to get back to us. They can't do anything there,
Right.
and just be a waiting period, like it's not
So
like
after
we don't
75
wait.
days, it continues on?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
So if there's a litigation risk and that happens, I mean, there's a 90-day period, whatever. Their option is to take it to court, and the agency, DEP, is gonna say, we're working on it. And generally,
We've
what-
responded with, we're working on it.
yeah,
It's what they're gonna do is, we've reviewed the documents, and now we need to come back with a response.
and
We have 75 more days. It's probably gonna play out like that.
Yeah, court's gonna defer to that. That's
Okay.
been, at least, yeah.
okay.
Okay.
Anybody, motion to adjourn?
75 days,
Second.
75 days.
I guess I made it, okay, second, do I hear? All in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, that was long.
Nobody's ever voted no on that.